What is happening, everyone? Welcome to GBALL VISION. Tonight we are taking a deep dive into this utilitarian monster, the Kansept Convict. The designer is Sheepdog Knives. This bad boy has a high polished PVD coated 154 cm sheepsfoot style blade. Kind of has a Warncliffe-esque look to it. You have this nice cutout for deployment. It rockets out of there. The detent is tuned very nicely. It came with an extremely good edge on it. The burlap micarta is some of the best micarta that I have had in. Typically, this stuff is very hit or miss. And in this case, it is definitely a hit. It's some of the better stuff, like I said, that I've had. And this is one of the more affordable options when it comes to the Convict. And speaking of that, you can pick these up a wide variety at White Mountain Knives. They range from $80 all the way up to like $220, depending on what your flavor is. But if you go to White Mountain Knives and decide you want to pick one of these up or a plethora of other knives, you can use code GBALL10 and that will get you 10% off this knife or your knife that you decide to pick up. Now, there are exceptions to that where the code doesn't work, but for most cases, that code does work. You have a lower mounted pocket clip. I would have liked or preferred a rollover clip that was deep carry, but I appreciate what they were going for here. It does make it very easy to get in and out of the pocket. No question. It will not be reversible, though, for our lefty buddies out there. Keeping that show side clean, but missing out on part of the market there, which is, of course, their choice. You do have some circular internal milling done for weight relief. It's not a heavy knife at all. You can see that the liners are hidden inside the scale, which makes for a nice clean look. You do have great access to that liner, and they give you a nice chamfer, easy to disengage. Lockup is nice and solid there, about 30% or so. And it did come nice and centered, and it has maintained its centering. It looks good still. I've been using this knife over the last couple of weeks. It's become, one of my favorite user knives. You have this nice utility style blade, very comfortable ergos. You can kind of get right up behind that edge. It also allows you to get that nice controlled precision index style grip and cut. Open construction. You do have two standoffs there. Let's go ahead and give this thing a little measure. You have about 2 7/8 of cutting edge, and to this point here, you're at about 3 3/8 ish, just shy of 3.5. And then overall, you are looking at it's like 5/16, maybe 3/8, somewhere in there, 7 3/8 or so. So it's not a big knife, but it's not a small knife either. And I did forget to change the batteries on this, but it looks like it's going to hold up at least for one more. So we got about 132 for your blade stock, and then behind the edge here, we are missing the edge. Ooh, that's coming down 12.5 right there back in here. So that's pretty good. That's pretty good. Let's turn that off. It is dying. I need to remember to charge that guy up. Let's go ahead and give this thing a little weighty weight quick. Let's see here. 3.3. So that is, for the ratio boys out there, that's pretty damn good. I've never been, much for the ratios thing. If I like the knife, I like the knife. I'm not going to, let something like that sway my decision on if I like the knife or not. If this has a 3.5-inch blade and it weighs 4.5 ounces, that doesn't mean that logic is very lost on me. Let's go ahead and throw some comparison knives up there, and it looks like the Hogue Deca is going to be a nice comparison there. We have the Hogue Ritter, which will in turn be a little bit bigger than our Kansept Convict. How about we throw the Para 3 up against it, and that's fairly comparable there. And we'll do the Paramilitary 2, which is going to be quite a bit bigger. Let's do a real popular knife right now. We have the Vosteed Knives RS Chaos. That's going to be quite a bit bigger. And then we have the Vosteed Raccoon, the sheep's foot variant, and that is going to be very comparable to our Convict. And let's just do one more for good measure. We have the AM8 Knives Flicks 2, which is a little bit bigger, but very close. A very fair comparison there. So it's, a medium-sized knife. It's not overly big, but it's definitely big enough to, get a nice full grip. It's comfortable. Everything is nice and softened as far as your edges and corners. I can squeeze this thing, and it's comfortable. Feels good. It comes down extremely thin. This thing is a great cutter. Speaking of cutting, let's go ahead and we'll cut some paper. We got some nice magazine paper here. This thing, I've been using this thing a lot, and it came with a beautiful edge on it, and it is still holding up. That 154 is a fantastic all-around steel. Nothing has affected this blade. And then the ability of it to, poke into materials and then be able to drag that cut out is another huge pro to this thing. Oh man, this would be a perfect package opener, clamshell type packaging, anything like that, getting in behind strapping or rope or anything of that nature. It would make for a fantastic user knife. After getting this thing, I put it in my pocket, and it actually has remained there quite a bit. It's one that, it's a very simple design. It's a elegant looking design. It's a nice package, closed up, very easy to pocket this knife. And if you're looking for something that is utilitarian and, something you can use as an EDC crossed with your work knife, this is going to be a perfect candidate for that because of the blade shape, of the steel choice, because of the ergonomics, being able to get this in and out of your pocket very easily. Nobody wants to have to dig or have a hard time or an issue getting the knife out of your pocket and, getting it open, making your cut, and then being able to put it back away quickly. And some people look for that. Some people do not like deep carry knives because it sometimes can create an issue either getting it in or out or both. Now I have my preferences. I do like the deep carry fold over clips. I do like milled titanium clips, But there are definitely times where I prefer, if I know beforehand I'm going to work and I have this set job to do, which is going to involve a lot of cutting or opening of certain materials, I will grab a knife just like this because I know I'll have a little bit poking out. I'll be able to grab it easily, put it away easily, and it's got a perfect blade shape to get the job done. As far as action and all that, it is great. It's on your standard, ball bearings. It's going to go down to your finger and then just lightly go closed, very drop shutty. It thwacks open, whether you want to thumb or reverse flick it, or you can slow roll it out, which I like to do with this. I don't know. I like doing the slow roll sometimes with it as well. And then, of course, you can do like a two-hand open. It's a great knife, guys. Nice and clean, nice and simple. It's a great price. I think there's a G10 one for $80 plus the discount, the 10% discount. You would be down into, like the low 70s or low to mid 70s at White Mountain Knives. So to get something like this in 154, micarta, a great user for in the $70 price range, that is, that's a fantastic deal. And then of course you can go even higher, get like S35 or some sort of Damascus, and you're gonna pay, quite a bit more, in the mid hundreds to up to 220, 230, depending on which one you get. But all things considered, I'm a huge fan of this knife. We will be doing a full review of this coming up here at some point when I get a little bit more time with it. But as it stands right now, this thing is absolutely fantastic. Let me know down in the comments if you have one of these or what you think of this knife. Don't forget to hit the thumbs up or hit the thumbs down if you feel like it. Otherwise, guys, if you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button, and I will catch you on the next one.